What is up, Gundam Meisters and Innovators? I am just a simple new type. And in this episode, we are concluding Mobile Suit Gundam 00I. Last time Leaf got into the I Gundam, and when he did, beside Pain's old memories were implanted into him, allowing the Innovade to get around the reformatting process. Regina Regetta is working with Beside to have Telicria activate his powers. Beside tried to use Fawn from the Foreste team, but he sees right through his plan and tries to stab him. This time we conclude our coverage as Telicria saves Leaf's body. Beside upgrades the Gundam, and the Gathering of the Six finally happens. So let's get into this. Lars points his gun at Ribbons. He says he isn't going to be a killer anymore. Ribbons thinks this is proof that even Innovades can evolve. Lars has been cut off from Veda for 100 years now, but once he connected with Bryn, he could reconnect with Veda. Also, his name is Bryn, not Burn. I don't know how I messed that one up so bad, but I'm glad I caught it on the last episode. Ribbons says if he helps him out, they could give him his wife back, kind of. His wife is the same type of Innovade as a new returner. I guess Ribbons was planning on reformatting her? That would be really awkward for Lock-On. Beside needs to stall. He asks Fawn what his goal is. He wants to get involved in the Gathering of the Six Innovades, even though he is human. Fawn knows he is stalling, but it is too late. From behind him comes the Garazzo crashing into the building. While Fawn is distracted, the I Gundam tries to flee, but Fawn throws the Estrella's hammer. Ribbons wants to help with the Gathering of the Six. He is interested because the plan was created by Veda, not him, and wants to know more about it. He knows Regina talked to Telicria about joining, and he suggests that they use someone else. Lars makes his leave for now. Hermia mentions that Innovade bodies are like humans, but they have nanobots in the blood to speed up their healing. They are able to get Leaf into a stable condition. Hanayo says that they will take him to Fawn's base to get Leaf's memories implanted. Dr. Telicria wants to join, but she says he can't come. Bachal and the Foreste team say they will help him with the Gathering of the Six. Beside tries to bypass Veda by taking on a new Leaf body, but it doesn't seem to work as he doesn't seem to have his memories. He is looking at the Eyes Gundam. The CB-001.5 1.5 Gundam, pronounced Eyes Gundam for some reason, is the upgraded version of the Eye after Fawn caused critical damage. This surpasses Estrella F. It has 2 new binders on its back, which can be used to enhance the suit's mobility. The binders are created using data from the Alvaron. They have 6 modes. Standby mode, which is at ease position on each side of the mobile suit. Attack mode attaches the binders to the Alvaron cannon. Defense mode connects the binders to the shield. High speed mode connects the binders to the Gian Tau drive. Flight mode turns the binders into wings, and Alvaron cannon mode is a giant cannon. Other weapons include a binder rifle, a Gian Buster sword, a Gian Buster rifle, and a Gian Beam saber. He is at a factory that was once used by Alejandro. Regina comes in and casually mentions that Beside was the one who Ribbon put in charge of constructing the Gian Tau drive factories around the world. Remember in Season 1, Ribbons gave the UN Gian Tau drives. We learn here this was Beside who did the dirty work. Regina wonders if they should dispose of the Doctor. He wants to dispose of everyone and start over. Beside can't let him know that he doesn't have Leaf's power anymore, or he will kill him as well. He tells Regina to head back to Ribbons before he gets suspicious. If the Doctor has Leaf, then he can get his body back. The Doctor meets the rest of the Foreste team. He learns that Dr. Marino has been helping Celestial Being this whole time. He also meets with Echo, and Shaw and Sherilyn comment on how eerily alike these two are. Beside Pain takes Eyes Gundam for a ride when he runs into another Gundam. It is Hixar and Gundam Raciel. Meanwhile, Fawn uploads Leaf's memories into a new body. He awakens. Hanayo gets a front row view of that Innovade penis. Meanwhile, after Memento Mori attack the Middle East, Tiedia tells the Ptolemaeus team about the existence of Innovades. Setsuna says that I will destroy every single one of them. Tiedia reminds him that he is one of them, but Sumeragi tells him that he is Celestial Being. Beside incapacitates Hixar. Hayana comes to help him, and she wants to go with him. He thinks back to the past, where Beside took control of his body and made him shoot himself. He can't allow Hayana to be around him in case that happens. Don't worry, he will ignore that feeling. She tells him that Foreste is busy, so they should leave the Gundam here. She happens to know a unit that he could use. The Federation finds the Celestial Being hideout, most likely the one at the L3 point, and they all have to go their separate ways and hide on their own. Before this, there was probably an intersection of the Foreste and the Ptolemaeus team. Too bad we don't see any of that. As they leave, Telicria downloads new Veda data. He now knows that Tiedia is fighting for Celestial Being. He won't be joining the Six as he is on his own journey. Not even Veda could stop him from helping his friends. Teligria says Veda works in mysterious ways, and no one is smarter than the supercomputer. The Fresh Day team all collectively go, we know someone smarter than Veda. In fact, you met him. They're referring to Fawn Spark. As Leaf wakes up, Fawn says the service isn't free. As payment, he wants to be a part of this gathering of the six. As he agrees, Hanayo informs them that Shaw contacted them. Fawn says it's time for food. That's random. Beside thinks the first place Leaf will go is Teligria's house. At the house, the doctor contacts Bryn, informing them of the situation. So far, they have 4 Innovades: Leaf, Bryn, Teligria, and Lars. Regina Regetta is still an unknown. Fawn wonders what happens to Teligria and Leaf after the 6 are assembled, considering that their powers are Innovade sensing capabilities. That is when the doctor comes in. He thinks once gathered, they might obtain a new power. It also might be that they will be useless once they gather together. Hanayo informs them of Besides' coordinates. He is heading to Teligria's house. The Eyes Gundam begins shooting at the house with Bryn, Hermia, and Sulu inside. The mobile suit suddenly stops moving. It happens to be Lars using his power to stop the mobile suit. He allows Beside to make his leave. Sulu calls Teligria and tells them of the situation. Leaf gets a sense that she may be one of the 6. Hixar's shuttle arrives. Hayana thanks Hanayo, but she is passive-aggressive to her. Some are hesitant, but they agree to awaken Regina's power. Teligria unlocks his power to learn that he can control GN drives. He tests this on the Gundam that he brought, the Reborn's Gundam. The she that Teligria was referring to was Hermia. She is happy just to finally be involved. The doctor awakens her power. After unlocking her powers, they don't really know what she could do. We then see them awaken Regina. He says that with the ability to control GN drives, he's going to do the plan his way. Fawn says that Veda won't allow you to use your powers for anything other than how they were intended to use it. Regina says they are unstoppable, forgetting that he has the body of a twink. Fawn says, oh yeah? Then why are you getting punched in the face by my fists? Fawn proceeds to beat up Regina. Outside, Hixar and Hayana are protecting the orbital elevator. Hayana is there even though Hixar is reluctant. Veda blasts some knowledge into the minds of the 6. They now know their purpose. They are the new observers. We saw observers in Season 1 of 00. It was the Council of Humans that had veto power to ensure Veda doesn't fall from the plan. That didn't work. If someone like Ribbons knocks the plan completely off course, the humans can't course correct. This time, observers will consist of Innovades, and instead of veto power, they are given special powers. Veda, the GN Drive, and Innovators are the 3 keys to Aeolia's plan, and we see how these 3 things play out to save the world in the main 00 series. But if that were to fail, these 6 have the ability to enact Aeolia's plan on their own. Of course, Regina is going to try to test this failsafe by killing everyone and starting his own observer group. That is when Beside begins attacking the orbital elevator they are on. They don't really explain where they are or how they got there. Regina makes his leave while Hixar shoots at Beside using the Sadalsud F with the Dynami sniper rifle. He fires back thinking he got a direct hit, but the Sadalsud was piloted by a Hado. Hixar and Hayana are in the GN Zephyr. He crashes into the Eyes Gundam. Hixar gets out of his cockpit and opens up Beside's cockpit. He tells Beside to apologize to Grave. He goes for the gun, but Hixar shoots and kills him. Back with the 6, Fawn expected it to go this way. He says that they could probably deduce what Hermia's powers are. If Teligria's powers are awakening, then there is most certainly a reset. Hermia can most likely reset Innovades. They all agree to reset Regina. She doesn't have to be near the person either, which is convenient. She resets Regina. As he is making his leave, he forgets why he is even there. Fawn shows a projection of Hanayo, who tells him that the elevator balancer was hit and it might collapse. Remember, Hanayo doesn't have a body and spends most of her time in a Hado. Hermia is looking right at Hanayo, who looks exactly like her, and going, who is this beautiful person? Lars tests his powers and sees if it applies to orbital elevator control systems. Leaf decides to go out in the Eyes Gundam. Hixar is concerned that Fawn gave Leaf the Gundam. Fawn is never nice. The Federation orders an evacuation. They notice that things are starting to stabilize, however. It is Lars. However, Ribbons is interfering via quantum brainwaves. They notice his powers are more than just controlling computers, and it mimics Veda in many ways. Teligria tells Hixar and Hayana to leave, but Hixar wants to see how this plays out. Hayana is pissed off. She wants to bail. If Lars's powers are designed to be a counter to Veda, then with the help of Bryn, he could talk to Veda to help them. Leaf makes it to the orbital elevator counterweight. He sprinkles some GN particles. Lars and Bryn connects to Veda and fixes the balancer. Yeah, so remember last time when Leaf got into the mobile suit, Beside took over? Yeah, so that happens again. You idiot, what did you expect to happen when you got in the Gundam? Leaf, once again Beside, catches up with what he missed. That is when Fawn comes in waiting for Beside to return. This is why he gave Leaf the Gundam. He wasn't an idiot, and he knew this would happen again. Fawn is piloting Avalanche Estrella. The GNY 001F HSA01D Gundam Avalanche Estrella Type F is the Estrella equipped with the Avalanche Dash unit. The GN condensers have higher performance, with reduced charging time and longer usage. This is derived from the Avalanche Exia. After Celestial Being collapsed, and everyone went their separate ways, Fawn raided the old facilities. The Avalanche Dash unit is not made for Estrella F, and some parts are forcibly attached by Fawn. The MBAC system has been greatly improved. It has a GN hammer that has verniers and releases GN particles on impact. It has its own GN condenser as well. Other weapons include 2 GN beam sabers, a pair of GN claws which has its own beam sabers, a GN sword, a GN beam rifle. Fawn was using this earlier, but sometimes you just don't get things in order. You have to deal with it. Hixar realizes this is why Fawn gave Leaf the mobile suit. As the two mobile suits fight, Hixar explains that Fawn is forcing Leaf to overcome his own problems. He has to defeat Beside from within, and if he doesn't overcome, Fawn will be there to kill him. Leaf has an internal fight with Beside, but the power of friendship wins, and he is able to take control of his body. I love when the power of friendship wins. Two Godesses suddenly approach their location. It is Healing Care and Revival. They don't want to fight, but they want the Gundam to gather Beside's battle data. They say that Beside Payne's Innovator line is dead. The orbital elevator is eventually repaired, and the Innovades went back to the human world. But before they did so, they chose a new 6th member. They decided to go with Fawn Spark, a human, as the Trinity is human, Veda, and Innovator. Having a human as one of the members works as a form of checks and balances. Leaf decides to travel the world in order to become a better observer for the future dialogues to come. And that will conclude Mobile Suit Gundam 00I. This might have some of the worst character designs we have seen in a Gundam series. Too many belt buckles, man. Too many belt buckles. Yet when you put a helmet on someone, all the characters look the same. Someone tell these Innovades they can't all look like David Bowie. Only one. And maybe give them a brush? Fix your hair. Now that we have completed 00I, let's learn who this Grave character is as we next dive into 00P. Here we will learn of a young Shawl Acoustica, where we follow the 2nd generation of Celestial Being, 15 years before the events of 00. But that will do it for now, new types. Remember that Fawn probably could have solved the ELS problem faster than Setsuna. Peace.